At Summer NAMM 2019, I wanted to make a different type of video that's typically done. I wanted to go in depth with philosophy and why certain pieces of gear were created. I wanted to go into the application and how this will change the way that we record or mix.
Hey guys, this is Derek from Vanguard Audio Labs here with Ryan at Creative Sound Lab, and I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit about our company and about our microphones. We've been around for 6 years, but only been selling to the public for 3 of them. We develop and design custom original microphones in Upland, California, and you can see them all here. We've grown our family a little bit in the last 3 years, and we're pretty excited to tell you about it. So just an idea of what we do. The 3 words here say it all: professional, affordable, and original. We don't do clones. Everything's custom. We're looking to solve solve old problems or build better mousetraps and just build brand new mousetraps. And I'm going to show you a couple of them today. This is the V44S stereo microphone, one that we're particularly proud of. The V44 is 2 capsules, our custom designed capsule, custom voice, nothing like it in the world. They're both independently switchable between cardioid, figure 8, and omni. So you can do mid-side, XY, Blumline, all in one microphone. Comes standard with our VLSM shock mount, comes with all of our large diaphragm microphones. This is a heavy-duty shock mount, die-cast Zamac, powder-coated, and spun aluminum with jet engine O-rings. These guys are pretty much unbreakable. The guy that supplies these to me supplies them to Boeing and JPL. These hold jets up in the sky. They're going to hold your mic up just fine. There's 6 of them on there. I am of the firm belief that spider shock mounts are the worst thing in the world. They get in the way of recordings. The stuff that holds up your underwear is holding up a $5,000 microphone. I think that's the wrong way to go about things. So we use these guys. I'm not sure if you can see, but like they are tough as nails. So I've used a lot of stereo mics in the past: C24s, SM69s, SM2s, some of the newer ones that are less expensive. And there's a huge issue with every single one of them, which is the way this turns. All of them are very fragile. All of them break, all of them get noisy. What we've done is this is actually detinted every 15 degrees, up to 90 degrees. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it on the video, but I will try when I turn it. So when you turn this, it is punch steel and ball bearings. It's not going anywhere. There's a couple of unique applications to this besides just stereo miking of guitars, pianos, drums, etc. One thing my audio professor taught me was on vocals. This can be very, very cool on vocals. So you have them sing 6 inches back in between the capsules. If you've got a really dynamic performance, like quiet versus screaming choruses, you run them both through the same exact style of preamp, and you put one preamp, let's say 6 to 10 decibels quieter than the other one. Then your gain staging is all proper. You track them right next to each other, and you can just do quick swipe comps or cuts and get them to sing the whole take through, so you get a continuous performance, a genuine performance, and you get good gain staging. Another great thing to do with these is just to demo preamps. You get the identical performance, and you can demo outboard gear on the exact same capsule, the exact same circuit. They're match capsules and match circuits. So these are a pain in the keister to build, but it's well worth it. That's a couple of cool tricks I learned with a stereo mic. And so many people liked it, but they felt kind of silly doing vocals into like the top capsule or something, that we made a mono version. But because I had the extra switch position on the back, I can do a pad and roll off. So the V4 at $399 and the V44S at $649 in the US. So the affordable part is really important to us. When I was in college for engineering school, I had the choice, 10, 15 years ago, longer than I care to admit, between $99 mics that you had to beat to death in the mix, or selling a kidney and getting something wonderful. But I was in recording school, so I was already in enough debt, and I didn't want to do that. So our big thing is we want you to spend more time creating and less time correcting. As soon as you enter a mix, you've got a limited time before ear fatigue, before demoitis, etc. So the less you have to do de-essing, EQ, etc., the better. And one of the best compliments that we consistently get on any of our mics is, I have to do so little to get it to sit in the mix. It's exactly what I wanted right from the get-go. Even on vocals, they're saying, I might goose it a little bit, like give it a little bump for presence or something if it needs it in the mix. I'll do a roll-off, And most of the time, they make 1 or 2 EQ moves, some light compression, and they're done on the V13, and they can move on, which is very rare for vocals, you know? The one that got tech nominated is our V1, and the V1 comes with 4 small capsules and a large capsule. This is one of the coolest things that we're most proud of. We just got a Tech Award nomination at this show, so it's pretty awesome. So you can do cardioid or omni on the large capsule, and then immediately switch it out for hypercardioid, cardioid, wide cardioid, or omni on the small diaphragm condenser. So instrument miking, another thing that a lot of guys do in Nashville actually, is they'll put a bridge mic and a neck mic, and they'll have the stereo kit, and they'll get cardioid, bridge, or body with the Lolly, and then they'll do a neck mic with the SDC, and they say that gets an absolutely phenomenal acoustic sound. Very, very modern sound.
Is this and that head the same?
These are actually 2 different heads, believe it or not. The capsule is the same in this one and this one. However, it uses a different interface, because here's the real trick. This is a prototype. We don't quite know when this one will be out, so we got a lot of work to do. This is a 9-pattern FET mic with interchangeable heads. So the interface is a little bit different. I needed 3 total connections, so I have to put 2 connections in the neck. This one only needs 1 to go on the V1. So then you can get variable voltage on the rear diaphragm and get 9 full patterns on a FET mic, which is really, really rare. And on top of it, this thing just has an insane build quality and circuit inside of it. The transformer, American wound transformer, is just, this thing weighs about probably 3 pounds, and at least half of it's just the copper and iron in that transformer. So this is going to be somewhere between $2 and $3 grand, I suspect, and we're not sure how many capsules it's going to come with. We're working on some other capsules in addition to our custom voice V13 capsule. We're working on one we're calling the V9 capsule and a few other ones. So this is the V7, and we're hoping to be showing it and selling it by Winter NAMM in January, but good quality takes time. You don't cut corners in design. That's my philosophy. It's ready when it's ready. I'd rather have it be right and slow than fast and wrong.
You know, you're obviously not going to squeeze a giant transformer into a small diaphragm body, but it's interesting when I see a large diaphragm mic side address put on a small diaphragm body.
Yeah, this is actually transformered. We managed to get a transformer in there, believe it or not. That's why it's a little bit longer than some of the ones you see by about 1.5 inches. Because the transformer and the coupling cap take up about 2/3 of the circuit board on their own. 2 very critical parts, along with the JFET at the top, and the decoupling for the capsule to decouple it from DC. I'm getting kind of nerdy here. Some of you will follow along. The rest of you can just ignore what I just said. But actually, interestingly, when you get a smaller transformer and you push it really hard, you get saturation of the transformer, which can be very cool. This transformer is actually pretty small in here too, and that was an intentional choice. A lot of the newer C12s, they initially had a larger transformer, and they shrunk it down when they made the C12A, and that saturation can actually be desirable. And we don't hit the transformer very hard on this tube mic. It's a very low gain tube, but if you push it really hard, you can get that kind of sound, which is very desirable, or you can pad it and not get that sound and hit the transformer as hard. So the pad on the back of this actually acts as kind of a saturation control more than just an SPL, like high SPL, high source type of thing. So it's a smaller transformer in this, and we did it intentionally after experimenting with a lot of transformers, because it's part of that je ne sais quoi of why we like the way things sound, that subjective art of sound to go along with the objective science of design. And that's the real trick, and that's what takes a long time. So we develop these in studio sessions in the real world. We're not putting this in front of a pink noise speaker and looking at FR charts. It has to sound good, you know, on a session and be useful and applicable so that you can get there and start creating instead of correcting, like we talked about earlier. This is actually, like we started with the idea of a KM84, very straight wire type circuit, 4 components from the capsule to the output. And then we hot rodded we hot rodded it. I was about to say something very bad. We really hot rodded it. And so then we custom designed a capsule to fit that circuit. And then when we put this capsule on and we tested it, it sounded amazing, man. Dave Way, who engineers Pink, Christina Aguilera, Fiona Apple, late Michael Jackson, Gwen Stefani, all that stuff, he actually has a pair of these, and he said he put this up against his favorite 414 EB, one of the originals with a brass capsule, and he liked this one better. He said it was very similar, touch more top end and presence, which he loved. You can actually buy the bodies separately. We'll sell them separately as on a per case basis. So if you get the stereo kit and you want to use 4 mics with the 10 capsules, we'll sell you 2 extra preamp bodies ready to go. And we'll sell you those separately so that you can have, I mean, $1,200 for 10 capsules, 2 mics, large and small diaphragm, the 2 shock mounts, the stereo bar, the wood box. I mean, that's already a steal of a deal. Once again, affordable.
I could imagine somebody, if they need some condenser mics, they get the whole package for their studio, you know, a vocal, acoustic guitar, like, it gives them a range.
That's precisely the idea. I call it a cornucopia of capsules because I enjoy alliteration, but yeah, you get 10 capsules with the stereo kit. They're all matched. And
like, how close is it to like a thicker body sound, you know?
You know, it's interesting because the circuit, if I'm allowed to relate this to cooking for a second, the capsule is like the base, like let's just pretend steak. Vegans, I'm sorry. But let's just pretend a steak. That's the capsule, right? But how you flavor it, how you cook it with the circuit is also critical. So this and this and this and this and this all have the same capsule in them. However, it's a different sound. It's got the same, kind of the same basic starting point, but then the capsule is such a big part of it. And when you say the body, that's another really good, are you specifically talking about the circuit, or are you talking about the body itself? Because the body itself does affect it too. And we have to go to lengths to make sure there's no resonance on these guys, for instance. And you'll notice if you look close on this one, you can see the capsule really clearly. We only use 1 layer of mesh when we build the head grill. And the reason why is because if you put 3 layers in, we're creating a resonant chamber. And a lot of cheaper mics that use a K67 style capsule, you get a lot of S-ing, and you actually get comb filtering in the S-ing. And the reason why is because you're creating a resonant chamber anywhere between like 3.5 and 8K, depending on the size of that cylinder. So when you open it up like that, all of a sudden you get a much more transparent sound. You get less peaks and dips in really critical areas, because that's where presence is, that's where S's are, that's where some of our consonant sounds are. So to hear that, people always say it sounds so defined, and that's a big part of the reason. George Neumann said if he could make a mic with any type of head grill, it'd be none at all. But you can't do that because of RF rejection, and these things are very sensitive. So they did the steepled head grill to prevent any kind of resonance building up between 2 parallel surfaces. Also clever. We did an open head grill, and what we encourage actually is all of them ship with what we call a mic condom, practice safe storage. And I don't have a banana to show you like in high school, so I'll show you on this microphone. So you just roll it over gently.
This went from cooking to a whole different area.
You know, yeah, I've got about 20 analogies, but definitely. Yeah, so I have a lot of people that like to leave it up on the stand because they use it every day. And they say, I don't want to, you know, I don't want dust to get into the capsule. So we provide it with this microfiber sleeve, and then when you're ready, just pull it off. And so you can keep it set up in your studio, any of our microphones, and they come with this.
How much should I be concerned about humidity? Because where I live, it's pretty decently high humidity, and I'm always concerned that like my studio isn't dry enough.
Any humidity on condenser capsules is going to cause an amount of noise because all those electrons desperately do not want to go into the circuit. It's very high impedance. They're looking for any way out. So humidity can be a concern with literally any condenser, and we always encourage you to have just good storage practices. It comes with the little silicone, the silicate baggies, the desiccants. Store it with those. I always encourage that. Just take care of your gear, you know? But it is, you know, if you're up close on it and you're breathing on the thing, you're eventually going to get some pops and clicks. But, I mean, really, just with any studio and any recording situation, it's best to be in a low humidity environment. But for the most part, with the exception of extremes, most mics can handle it. If you have any questions, you can find me at VanguardAudiolabs.com. If you hit email us, it comes right to me. 3 guys total in the company. It's me, Ken, and Micah. So
Nice.
Excited to talk to you guys, and you can find us at Vanguard Audio Labs on Instagram, Facebook.com/Vanguard Audio Labs, or VanguardAudiolabs.com. Thanks so much, Ryan. Appreciate it.